Hi, welcome to this new video on Escape from Boykisser. This guide is going to be divided into 4 separate parts. 2 of the parts are going to be to beat the game normally if you have a friend that's stuck on something. It explains what you have to do to complete the game. The second part, however, is going to be the same 2 levels but explaining the speedrun strategy, how to beat the game super quickly. The time codes should be displayed on the screen right now. To clear the level 1 normally, it is a 3-step process. You first want to extinguish the fire to be able to access the door. Then to repair the door, you are going to want 2 fuses that allows you to put the power back in it. And finally, you want to find the code that makes you able to open the door. But first, let's see how to extinguish the fire. To extinguish the fire, you want to be able to open the box that contains the extinguisher. For that, you need a key. To obtain that key, you first want to find the wrench. The wrench has 3 possible spawn locations. The first one can be in the kitchen. It can also be at Fort Cliff. Right there. If it is not at Fort Cliff, I'm going to show you the last spawn location possible for the wrench, which is at luggage. This is the last possible spawn location for the wrench. It can be right there. Once you have the wrench, you are gonna want to head towards toilet. Behind toilets, there's gonna be a pipe that you want to fix. Fixing that pipe is gonna give you the key. Once the pipe is fixed just like this, the key should drop. Pick up the key. And once you have the key, there is 2 possible locations for the box that contains the extinguisher. It can be in luggage right there. If it is not, it is at Fort Cliff. You can see that the box is right there. Once you obtain the extinguisher, you are gonna want to head to fire and simply extinguish it. Once you have extinguished the fire, you can now access the door. As you can see, you need both fuses to fix it. I'm gonna show you all the spawn locations possible for the fuse, the first one being in the weed room. As you can see, it was right there. The second other spawn location is at Fort Cliff. It can spawn right on those tapes. It didn't this time, so let's head to the other spawn location, which is at toilet. This is the last spawn location where you don't need the ladder. I got lucky and got both fuses without ladder, but I am gonna show you how to access the 2 other locations that are locked behind the ladder item. The ladder can either spawn after the fire right in that corner. If it is not there, it is possible that the ladder spawned right behind you at the spawn. As you can see, it is not there. The last possible spawn location for the ladder is at luggage. You can see the ladder is right there. Once you have the ladder, the possible spawn locations for the fuse can be in the kitchen. The spawn location is gonna be there. You want to place the ladder like this. And you can access the fuse that's supposed to be there. If it is not there, the last possible location is at office. Once you are at office, simply place the ladder there, and you can access the last fuse. Now moving on to the password that you need. You want to head to office, which is right there. In this room you will find those pictures and this flashlight. This is the both items that you need to solve the password thing. Those pictures are the location of the digits of the password, and the order in which the rooms are displayed is the order of the digits. So if I found, for example, a 2 in luggage, the 2 is going to be at the second place in the password. So we can see that we have toilet, luggage, weed, Fort Cliff. To find the digits, you are going to want to equip yourself with the flashlight and head to those locations. So we can see that we have to start with toilet. Once at toilet, there is 3 possible places where the digits can be hidden. It can be behind that door, there on the toilet. It can be in the bucket, or the last possible place is under this mirror there. So we can see that we have a 2 at the first place. So the password is going to start with 2. The second location that was displayed with the pictures was luggage. So we can see that we got a 3, but the password can be anywhere there. Just look, it can be behind that thing. The digits can be anywhere in luggage. So we got a 2 and a 3. The next room that we have to visit is weed, but for now I'm just gonna get rid of the Boykisser that is chasing me. And don't worry, even with the flashlight, you are faster than him. The only item that makes you slower than him is the ladder. In weed there's 3 spots possible. It can be behind those plants, it can be right there, or behind there. in my case, it is right there, and have fun trying to read. It is a 0, so we have 2, 3, 0. We have seen with the pictures that I now have to go to forklift for the last digit. The digits can be either on top of this thing, right there between those planks, or in this tire. We see that we got a 9, so the password for me, if you remember correctly, should be 2309. 2309. And you can see the password is correct. Once you have both views and that the password is correct, you can interact with the door and escape the first level. The second level, in my opinion, is easier to understand than the first one. The floor 0, which is the first level you are gonna spawn in, is your sample level. You are gonna want to observe carefully the objects, because you're gonna have to remember them. You can see that after this threshold, you have a lot of objects in this room that you have to pay attention to. Once you spend enough time analyzing the room, you can continue and simply interact with the door at the end of the hallway. After that, you are going to be headed to floor 1. What am I going to explain for this world is going to work for every other floor. Once you are in one of those floors, you need to spot anomalies. If you spot an anomaly, you are going to have to turn around and interact with the door that led you there. If, however, you do not spot a single difference with the sample room, that means you can keep going forward and interact with the door at the end. I'm gonna link in the video description a Steam guide that does a pretty decent list of all of the known anomalies if you are struggling too much to just remember the sample room. In our case, it seems like there is no difference from the sample room, which means I can keep going forward. If you guess correctly, you are gonna be headed to the next level. Repeat the process until you reach the last floor, and if your last guess is correct, you are gonna be headed to the end of the game. Now let's head into the second part. If you are interested in speedrunning the game, or simply struggle to get the 5-minute achievement, this part is for you. I'm gonna show you how to finish the game as fast as possible. If you actually want to speedrun the game, you might want to reset a lot because you need the items to spawn in an optimal location. For example, you are gonna want the wrench to spawn in the kitchen first. Even if you don't get it in the kitchen, you can still get a pretty fast run if you want the achievement, but it is obviously not gonna be optimal. After restarting, I got the wrench to spawn on the correct location. Once you have the wrench, not much changes from the normal way to play the game, since you want to fix the pipe that is at toilet and get the key. Once you have the key, the optimal route will be the box to spawn at luggage. I got lucky and it actually spawned there. This is the most efficient route, but if the box spawned at forklift, it can still be a fast run. You're just gonna lose around 2 seconds on your time. Just like the normal route though, you are gonna want to simply fix the fire. The main change, however, is that in the version of the game where that video is made, the dev just forgot to put the requirement to interact with the door. As you can see, I have no item, I don't know the password, yet I still can interact with the door. And that is how you finish the level 1 super quickly. Now, to speedrun the second level, it is pretty straightforward. You are basically gonna want to just take guesses to finish it as fast as possible. It is indeed not the funniest thing ever, and this is why there is no category anymore for simply the level 2 alone on speedrun.com. But if you want to get a run on 100%, you might want to know how to do that. The sample level, aka floor 0, is always gonna be correct, so you are always gonna want to go through, and you don't even want to look at the room, because we are simply gonna take guesses. However, once you reach the regular floors, you are gonna want to turn around as quick as possible, but not instantly, because as you can see, you cannot interact with the door instantly. You have to go through a certain distance, which I estimated to be somewhere there, turn around, and interact with the door, praying for the guess to be correct. You are gonna want to do that 6 times in a row. So yes, this is pure luck, but this is the fastest way to complete the level, and this is what is done in the world record. As you can see, this is pretty simple to understand, it just takes a lot of attempts. Alright, that was my guide on Escape from Boykisser. If you have any more questions, you can just let a comment and I will answer it pretty quickly. I'm usually pretty reactive with those things. Good luck with your runs and bye!